And good morning. Just gonna do some last minute tech checks just to make sure I've got audio. The stream is a little bit behind. Yep, there we go. Okay, perfect. So today we're going to follow what I put here, and it's just says traps. So we're gonna build the complete loop today. We're gonna start. I'm gonna do the trap thing because I think it'll be interesting. It'll be real quick to do. And then we'll get into building the exit stairs. And then we're going to build the town scene. So then we can have, that start scene, explore the dungeon, go back. We'll show our party list and all that stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make use of our game manager. And we're going to be able to take our players and they're going to live in the game manager. That's going to be the overall authority of our party. So then if you leave the dungeon and you're missing a rogue, that's going to say when you're back in town, we need to repopulate with a basic rogue. So that's going to then take the players and all their items and put them into the game board. And then we're going to take them out and put them back into the game manager when we're in town. So that's going to be our thing of authority. So we're going to get all that done today so that we can start town, say, go explore the dungeon, do our stuff, find the exit tile, get out, come back into town, and rinse and repeat, and make sure we can do this multiple times. So that's our goal for today. We're going to start with the traps. I did come up with just a real basic, I don't know if that's going to focus, probably not, but real basic idea of a GUI for my town just to kind of get it going for today. So it's going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing too extravagant. But before we do that, we did miss to check off a couple things. So let me jump back over into our plan here. So we did create spawning staircases. We did add a starting staircase to the level. And we do have a confirmation exit box. And we still have to actually build the exit tile, which we have. We just haven't finished coding it up. And it's going to be a slightly different code than the return to town, I think. Yeah, we'll just have to mark it like, hey, we completed the level. We haven't implemented any of that stuff. We'll come back to that. Save and load from the town level. That's going to be pretty easy once we get all the characters into our game manager, because then we can just save the data in our game manager. Traps, we're going to do this today. I probably won't get this in, but we will get all of this in. Yeah. And then, yeah, we got to do the basic UI. Oof. Okay, so we got quite a bit to do today. So I'm going to start off with the traps. So let's jump over here and let's get our planner going. So let's take a look where we are first. We are at 53.3 hours. So let's see how much we can get done today. So let's see, Dungeon Fire tiles. We're going to work on traps and game loop. Okay, save. Okay, so we're going to start that. One of the first things I want to do with the traps is I want to design the actual little T that's going to show on the game board. And I'm thinking what I might do is I think I'm going to pull in the actual sprites from my dungeon tile map. Instead of using the actual tile map, I think I'm just going to use the overlays. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that. So let's see here. 471, where are you? There we go. Did not open the project yet. Okay. Dungeon Fire tiles. Here we go. Okay, so let's find our dungeon tile map. Dungeon tiles, here we go. Dungeon tile set, here we go. So let's go show in File Explorer. Let's open this in. Open with, actually, you know what? I'll just do this. Copy this. I'm going to A sprite here. We're going to do File New. So let's see, it's going to be 8 pixels tall, and it's going to be 8 times 3, because we're going to have 3 possible states. So that's going to be 24, transparent background, perfect. Okay, so this is going to be our trap thing. Let's do a file open. And let's see here. I think it was this one. Yeah. Okay, so let's come in here and we need to snag these two tiles. So let's take this, copy that, let's paste this in here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then let's snag this one as well. We'll see. I'm gonna put that in here, and we're gonna put that right next to it. Okay, and then let's just take, whoops, let's just take our basic tile here. Control C. And we're gonna just put that right here. Boom. Okay. And then what we can do, we'll just draw out our trap here. So let's see. Is white going to be optimal? I don't know. Let's find out. So what I kind of want to do is I want to have a T. 1, 2. See, this isn't an odd. Yeah, now see, I don't like that. And I don't like this having, whoops, being wide like that. So what if we do just like that? A T, and then I wanted to surround it with something, but the problem is, again, we only have limited. Actually, you know what? Why don't we do this? See, if these were odd numbered tiles, it'd be a lot easier. What if we, yeah, is that gonna be too big? T for a trap, and then we can outline it in. We want to outline it in. Let's see. What do we have for a couple different colors here? Oh, what if we like shade it? Yeah, don't think I. Oh, got the shadows going wrong because look, the shadows here are all going left. So, let's see here. What else could we do for this art? I am not very good at art. We could just make it like this. So we outline the square. And then that could tell them that there's a trap there. And if we, oops, where's our shade color? Kind of like this. I don't think that that's going to really register as a trap. Yeah. Well, if we do that, what's our color picker? I can't remember the shortcut. I. Oh, you know what we could do that would be even. Let's do, you know what? Let's go back. Let's grab this. Okay. Let's do boom, boom, like this. It's an exclamation mark. There we go. Yeah, that would, what else could we do that's 6 by 6 pixels that could represent a trap? I don't know. I kind of feel like I kind of like this right now. Kind of want to add this little bit of shading, just so we can kind of. Oops, a little too far in that one. Boom. Yeah, that kind of hovers above. I don't think I really want the shading like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. at least for right now. Or do we want it to stand out and be like yellow instead? I think the white looks better. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's save this. Let's export. And then let's see. We're going to put this over to tile maps. Okay, and then we're going to call that. Choose file. And we're going to call this our trap. Spike trap. Spike trap PNG. There we go. Save. All frames. Yes, export. Okay. So that should be fine there. Okay, so let's go back over here. We should have, yep, there's our spike trap. Okay, so let's start, create a new scene. New scene. It's going to be a node 2D. We're going to call this spike trap. Okay, and then we're going to add in a sprite. And then our sprite is going to be this. Animation is going to be 3 frames long. So then this will be our warn state, and then the next frame is going to be the trigger state. Spikes come up, and then this is going to be like the trap's already been triggered, so the spikes go down. Okay, I've lost my chat. There it goes. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Now let's add in our. What we determined last time, we said we want the players to be able to, let me grab my physical notebook here. Traps. Show them with the T, which we changed the T up for an exclamation mark. We're not going to search for them. Stop movement when hit. No, we're going to continue moving on. Okay. So let's add an area 2D. And on top of that, we're going to add our collision shape. And then I believe our rogues are on layer 2. Yes, layer 2. Okay. So let's go over here. Where is our area 2D? We are monitoring for 2, so we don't need to be monitorable. Oops. Spike trap. We're going to put this in. Where did we put our core components? Spawners. That's where the spawners are going. Where did we put our stairs up, health bar? Yeah, we'll just put it right here. This is fun. Core component, spike trap. Done. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's put our frame back to 0. Okay, and then we need to add in the rectangle. That's going to just be 8 by 8. Okay. So this will detect now when a player comes in. So let's add in a spike trap here. Do we want to make a base class of traps? That's a good question. For right now, let's just call it trap, because right now we're only gonna have the one trap, and if we decide we want to come back and change things around a little bit, then we can make this the base class, and then we can extend the spike trap if it needs to be doing something. I'm sorry if that sounded very quiet. I forgot to put the microphone in front of me, so. Yeah, there we go. My bad. I realized I'm like, I can see my keyboard very clearly today. Normally I can't because the microphone's in the way. Yeah, it's because I didn't put the microphone in front of me. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. We need a function. We need a ready function here. We also need the area 2D here. So let's call this player detector. Okay, so let's take that, bring that in here. And we're going to do player detector dot body entered dot connect, and we're going to call it spring trap. Okay, Um, yeah, yeah. Okay. And function spring trap. Oops. Spring underscore trap. There we go. And then this is going to pass in a body, which should be an actor. Okay. We're not going to return anything. Yeah, it should only be an actor. Okay. So we'll pass this in. We'll spring the trap, and then we can say, because we're only monitoring for layer 2, which is the players. Layer 3 is monsters. Okay, so we should not trigger on any monsters. So that should allow them to walk right through it. So let's just do a double check though. If body dot is in group players. Okay, so let's say if not in players, then we're just going to return. Nothing's going to happen. Oops, didn't mean to do a colon there. Okay. Otherwise, what we need to do is we need to determine if this is going to be a dud trap or if we're going to hurt the player. So let's see what we need to do. Var damage damage equal, or well, let's do an integer equals random I, and then we're going to do a 0 random I range. Yep. And then we're going to do from 0 to 3. Oops, that's supposed to be a 0. There we go. I'm thinking here, because if I go back and look at the D&D adventure board game system, there's a good number of traps that are duds, and a lot less that are 3, so it's a lot more weighted. We're going to do with this right now. We're not going to get distracted by that. But I think what I'm probably going to do post early access is go back in, change the traps so it's a weighted array. So then we have 30% are duds, 30% are 1 damage, or maybe 20% are 1 damage, 20% are 2 damage, and that leaves us with what? 30%? No, we don't want to do that. 30% probably are 25% are 2 and 3, and then 20% are 3 damage. Just so then it's kind of more like a bell curve, how this works. But for right now, this will work fine. And then we can just do body dot health current HP minus equals damage. Did we have in our actor, do we actually have a take damage? We do not. We should probably build a take damage thing, just so then we can start spawning effects and stuff like that. But for right now, we don't need to worry about that. So right here, we're going to take the damage, and then that's going to trigger that. Okay. Let's see. What else do we need to do? We also need to change the sprite here. So let's get that. So when this triggers, function spring trap, our damage, we need to sprite.2d.frame equals 1, because that's our trigger frame. Okay. And then we're going to do a get tree create timer. And then let's just give it 2 seconds dot timeout. And then we're going to just play frame 2, because then it's done. The other thing we need to do is we need to take this and we need to set, we already have a reference here, player detector. We're going to say dot monitoring equals false, because we don't want to trigger it again. Okay, so now when it steps on, it'll play the, it'll make the spikes pop up real quickly, and then after 2 seconds, they will go back down and play the disabled. So on ready, we want to make sure we're set for frame 0. Okay, And then I'm going to just add this in right now because when we do escalation, we probably might need it. We're going to have to do reset trap. And that is going to be pass. And then we're just going to basically change this back to copy. This will be back to true. And then we're also going to set this back to 0. There we go. And then that should be it. Because then the signal will still be connected. Do I want to do it the nice clean way? Let's do it the clean way, just to be clean. We'll do this here. We'll do this, and then we'll disconnect it. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we'll disconnect it. We'll wait. And then if reset trap gets called, then we turn all this on. You know what we can do? Probably right here. We can probably just call reset right here. Yeah, we'll just do that. Because then it sets our frame properly. It connects the signal and then turns on monitoring. Okay. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create a trap spawner. So if we go back and look at our monster spawner, it's going to be basically the same thing. Monster spawner, scene. We're just going to do file, save scene as. And this is going to be a trap spawner. Okay. Actually, do we want to do it more like the stairs spawner? Let's look at what we do for a special spawner. No, we don't want to use that. We want to use monster. So let's go back to, this is our trap spawner. Here's our monster spawn. We'll just copy this. And then we will rename this to trap spawner. Trap spawner. And then we'll disconnect that, create a new one. Spawners, trap spawner. Okay. Trap spawner. Okay. Single spawn trap. Export. This is going to be, we're going to make it an array because I want to come back in later and I want to actually come up with some more traps. So I'm just going to make this an array of traps. So this is going to be boom traps. Spawn monster. This is going to be spawn trap. New actor. I'm just going to change this, new trap. And new trap. Okay. Okay. So we got that. We got that. Let's add in our element here. Quick load. Spike trap. Okay. Pack scene, spawn trap. This is going to be, well, for right now. Did we just call it trap? What did we call it? I think it was just trap. Yeah, trap. Okay. So that's going to be a trap. We're going to emit the new trap. Type trap. Okay. So that should be good here. Now we need to go back to our dungeon tiles here, and we have, here's cells by terrain. We're going to copy this. We're going to do chest. Here we go. Trap spawner. New trap spawner. This is going to be a trap spawner. Spawners, add child. New trap spawn. New trap spawn. Spawn. Okay, so that should be fine. Now we just have to add in the constant up here. This is our trap spawner scene. Okay, so we got that. So that will add our trap spawner. that whenever we have the trap tiles come up. Okay, and is there anything else we need to do to make this work? We don't need that. We can just delete that. Yeah, I think that's it for our traps. I think we should be good for that. So we've got, oh no, we need spawn trap. We need something to connect to the signal. So we need to go to the spawners. Spawners. Here we go. Spawn actor, spawn special, function, spawn trap. And that's gonna be a trap, trap. A location, which is gonna be a vector 2. Void, and that's going to be a new trap. Wait, how did we do this down here? Stair spawn, trap spawn dot emit, and then we're going to send the trap, comma, the location. Okay. This is our, remember, our signal, call down, signal up mentality. So that's what this is. Okay. So up here. Trap spawn, and then this is going to be a trap. Okay. And then we need this. If node is trap spawner. Okay. Then node dot spawn trap dot connect spawn trap. Okay. And now what did I do wrong? There's a colon missing somewhere. Expect the colon after if. If node, oh, is. There we go. Okay. And then this is trap spawn, oh, dot emit. There we go. Spawn trap dot connect spawn trap. Oh, I spelled spawn right here. There we go. Okay, so then that will call up to the game board. The game board needs to then add the trap, which, if I remember up here, we have a stair spawn, so we can probably just reuse this. And then we're going to do, this is going to be trap spawn, and then this is going to be underscore trap of type trap. Okay. Do we need a separate child node here? Spawner stairs. Why not? Node 2D. Okay, and then this will be traps. Okay, so let's put that up here. Okay, then we'll need a reference to it. Still getting used to this new mouse. Where did we do? Here we go, right there. Okay, so then here we'll do traps, add child trap. Okay, and then trap dot global position equals location. Okay, so that's the trap spawn. We still need to connect in a listener for it. Where's my on ready? Here we go. Spawners. Here we go. Spawners dot trap spawn connect trap spawn. Right, that's what we called it. Trap spawn. Yeah. Okay. So now that should work. So let's go back in here. It's like our tile. This is our new entrance. This is entrance 2. Let's edit this entrance. Well, let's do a trap. Let's put them right. And let's put a whole line of them. There we go. Save. Okay. So now if we come back into our game board here, we run this, we should see invalid call to spawn. New trap spawner dot spawn new tile. Trap spawner initiate. It's right there. Spawn. S-P-A-W-N. Okay. Let's go back to our stack trace here. So right here, we're calling. Okay, so we're in there. We found the ones marked 4. So we add the tile. So let's go back here and look. Traps, spawners. Trap spawn. Okay, so this has been added to the scene. So we have the trap spawner. Excuse me. But when we try to call trap spawner, it's not working. We've got to call a function spawn in base node 2D trap spawner. Expected 0 arguments. Oh, okay. That's what the problem is. Spawn. We're sending in. What are we sending? Okay, so I don't think I need to send anything then from here. We did new tile, but when we did the monster, yeah, monster we never called any. Okay, so that's all we should need. Oops. Helps if I run from the right scene. Okay. Okay, so that they're it looks like we already triggered some because they were offset. Okay, so we need to go back and fix their offset, which I believe was in the spawners. Spawners location. No, was it in game board? Trap spawn. So here's the actor spawn. We added this, so we'll probably need that here. Save. Okay. Okay. So now we got our traps here. And who are we on? We're on the rogue. So let's take a look here at our rogue. So there's all of our trap spawners. So we got 4 trap spawners, and there's our 4 spike traps. Okay, and where is actors? Here we go, rogue. And let's take a look at this. We'll move our rogue straight down. Poof! And the spikes popped up, and he took 2 damage. Okay. Okay, so in spike trap, what we also probably need to do. It's working. What happens if I do this? Doom, doom, doom. He is dead. Okay, so that did not actually process his hit points properly. Okay, so he didn't die like he should be. So rogue is a player. Player, here we go. Movement. When we do the actor, probably under actor, when we change their hit points, are we calling... Okay, so we should probably have a setter here that checks to see if they're dead. Yeah, I'll have to come back in and do that. That's going to be something I don't want to spend time on this second, but we definitely need to do that. Let's make a note of it in our Kanban for this. Add card. Add HP setter. Okay. Make sure character die when on the traps. There we go. Put that in the current milestone save. Okay. Okay, so we got that. We'll circle back to that Okay. That's the wrong button. Okay, so we got the traps. Let's go back over here. Traps. We create it. It spawns. We have the T. Monster should not trigger it. Where can we can add a monster to that starting tile. Let's do that. Just make sure. Tile editor, edit, monster, spawner. Here, we'll do that. Save. Okay. Okay, so then if we just end our turn, of course, these are ranged attack. We only have one that's physical. But he should not. Yep, he did not trigger the traps. Okay, perfect. That's what we wanted to make sure of. Okay, let's see here. That is good there. Okay, I need. We don't need this anymore. Let's do. You know what? Let's take our. Let's close this out, close this. Okay, we're gonna bring up our stairs down and stairs up. Okay, so we need to basically copy this over so that we have the same thing. Most of this we can all just copy right on over. Paste. Then we have our detector, detects players, our label, leave, that's perfectly fine. Then let's take a look at our script here. This is our stairs script. Do we need anything else here? No. I think we can just take the stair script and put it right on our exit stairs. Later on, we may want to do a different. Oops, I forgot to mute that. Mute. There we go. Okay. I think maybe later on we'll want to come back in and change that to have a difference between stairs up and stairs down. But for right now, I think that's all we need. Okay, so we've got that. We've got that tile editor. Do we have a dungeon exit? We do have a dungeon exit. Okay, so we need to go back to our game board. Must be I closed our game board. Okay. Let's open that back up then. Game board. And we can look at our tile stack. And do we have... We don't. Okay, so let's add in... Oops. Quick load. Exit. Dungeon exit. Okay. And I'm going to put this up here. And for right now, 8. Yeah, so that should draw... let's save this. Let's go back to our tile editor. So on exit, 8 is a common. Let's make it very common so then we can hopefully get it to come up here. So, let's go back and let's get rid of our monsters for right now, just for testing purposes. Okay, I'll save that. Hey, the Hidden Blade. How's it going today? So far, so good. I'm going to have to take a real quick break here in a moment to use the restroom, but I think we've got traps working. I'm finishing up the exit thing right now just to make sure it works, and then we're going to add in the full loop with the town and the game manager, so we'll have an actual playable loop here very shortly. What other tiles did I need to edit? Let's edit this one. I don't remember if this one's in the stack. I don't think it is. Excuse me. Actually, let's just look. Game board. Is entrance 2 in the stack? It is in the stack. Let's just take it out of the stack for now then. Okay, so let's save that. So right now we just have this. And so none of these. So we don't have the dead end in there. Nope. And we don't have entrance 2 or test tile 6. Okay. So we shouldn't spawn any monsters right now. So we can be able to walk around and test. We do have some traps here, but that's fine for right now. Okay. So let's end the turn. Hey, look. Very first draw. Exit. This is like playing Diablo 1 again, where they... Yay, leave. Okay. Okay. So we've got all of that. Perfect. Okay. So let's see here. Don't need the special spawner. Don't need this. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. We will need this, and then we will need to build a town. Okay. I think. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to take a real quick bio break. I'll be back in about, hopefully about 3-4 minutes. And then we will start building the town. So hopefully things are cool, but I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sometimes the nature hits you in the most inopportune time. Okay, so let's see here. Let's build our town scene, actually. So new, do I want to build it as a 2D scene, or let's just do it as a control node. Yeah, let's just do it as a control node. I think that'll work fine. New scene. So let's do other node. Let's do it as a canvas layer. We'll call this town. Okay, and let's add a control. Let's make it the full size. Whoops, wrong button. Full size. Okay, and then let's see. What did I do? What did I draw here? Let's see. We did the town name, the gold, fun stuff like that. I'm not going to do a whole lot here. I just want to get it roughed out. So then let's add a, let's see here. Let's do a VBox. I should do a margin actually. Let's do a margin container. Just going to leave it as is for right now, but I think later I'll come back in here and tweak that. Let's add here a VBox. And then, so that will be for those two things. Let's add an HBox. We'll add two of those. This will be our top one. And inside here, let's add a label. Town of, I don't know, town of fodder. I need to come up with a better town name or something like that, but we'll call it town of fodder for now. Okay, and then I need Control A. So if I do gold, I'm going to need both gold and the value, and I probably want to keep those together. So give me another HBox. And then this will be, that'll be there, and then we'll add a label. Two labels here. Call this gold value. Just make that easier. This label will be gold. Okay. And then this is going to be at the end. Where is my expand? Okay. And then this layout. And we'll make that expand as well. There we go. So there's our town of fodder. HBox containers here. VBox. Oh, can we get a what do they call it? A horizontal separator. There we go. H separator. We'll put that right. Right. Yeah. There we go. Right there. Boom. Horizontal separator. Okay. So, oh, you know what else we need? We need a color rect. Let's make that the entire thing. We're just gonna make it black for now. Boom. And then we're gonna put that right there. There we go. Town of fodder. Here's our control. Here's this. Yeah, let's where's our minimum? Nope, that's not what I want. Margin. Here we go. There we go. Pulls it in from each side. There we go. Okay. And then after that, I have, see, we have the party roster and then the buttons. So that we need a VBox under this one. VBox. Okay. And then we're going to add, oh, not VBox. We need, this needs to be an HBox. Cancel. HBox. Okay. And then under that, this is going to be the party container. And then we're going to add another VBox. And then this is going to be our buttons. Okay. And then so under here, let's do this on the end. Expand. This. There we go. Expand. This will be expand buttons. Okay. And then here we're going to add in our buttons. Okay. First button is going to be, I'm going to just do rest so then we can heal up. Next button is, we're going to have, I have 4 here on my thing. So let's do this rest. This will be the shop. This will be the equip. And then this will be explore. Okay. And then this, instead of expanding, we're just going to make that over here. Okay, that's fine. And then this VBox, this I'm just going to add in. So this is the VBox for the party roster. And then we're going to have in 1, 2, How do I want to do this? I want to do a VBox and then 3. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add in some more VBoxes. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this VBox, add a label, add a label, and add a label. Okay. So this one is just gonna say party member, member, party member. This one's gonna be wait a minute, I did this wrong. VBox here. This that goes okay. That goes there. This goes here. No, this goes out. There we go. Out a layer. Okay, VBox member. This will be the hit points of the party member. And then this one, you know what? I'll just do this. Boom, delete that. And this one will be our item level. There we go. And then we'll be able to just list our party members as they go through here. So these are yeah. So that's the idea. And then we'll just have this real quick. Let's see here. Core components, scenes. You know what? We should probably just make a scenes folder. Probably be better. Oh, wait. What we got here? Enemies, tiles, core components, characters, assets, add-ons. Let's just make a new folder. We'll just call it scenes. Okay. And then we'll just save this as the town scene. So we're going to come in here. We'll rest to heal up. We can shop. We can equip. And then we can explore the dungeon. Okay. Okay. So we've got this. This is going to be our starting scene. So actually, let's select current. So now when we start the game with F5, I can go right here and then the Explorer should bring us into the dungeon. But that is good here. I'm just going to do some real quick, just placeholder stuff. 1, 2, oops. 4. Okay. Rogue. There's no T in Barbarian. What am I doing? Barbarian. This is going to be the priest. And then this will be the wizard. Okay, and then under here we need 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't remember what they're at, so let's just do 5. Actually, we should probably do it like this, so then we can see if they're fully healed or if they're damaged or something like that. So we can do like 5 out of 10, and 5 out of 7, something like that. And then these. Center it so then it all appears there, and then the item level. Actually, let's just go here. Item level. I don't know. Well, let's just say like 2. There we go. Oops. 2, and we'll select both of these, and we'll center it. Okay, and then we'll just duplicate this down. Okay. So now we kind of just have a rough idea of who these are. We can populate this stuff later. But the big goal is going to be here. It's going to be explore. And when we come back to leave town, when we step on the stairs, it should bring us to this scene. Okay. So get that out of my way. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see. Where am I going to go first? Let's bring up our game manager. Okay. So this, I believe, game managers are auto load. Globals, here we go. Yeah, that's our auto load. Okay. Should I change? No, I'm not going to change it to a scene. This should be fine. So we need a constant first because we need to define what our constant party is going to be. Oops, constant is lowercase. Constant. Let's do our, let's just call it class. Base classes? Base class. Let's do base classes. Okay. And that's going to be a dictionary. And then we're going to build that out. We're going to do rogue. Okay. And then that's going to be a preload. And then we're going to bring in the rogue scene. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to basically do the same exact thing. We're going to do rogue barbarian. Okay. And that's going to be a preload. Preload. Okay. And that's going to be the barbarian. What else we have? We have the priest. Oops. Did I stole that from the other thing. There we go. Preload. Priest. P-R-I-E-S-T. Oh, right, because we called it a cleric, didn't we? What did we call it? I thought we called it a cleric. Seriously, what would we call our priest? No, we called it a priest. Okay, it's right there. I don't know why it wasn't all populated for some reason for us. Wizard. Preload. Wizard scene. There we go. Boom. Okay. So then we have our base classes. So we have the 4 base scenes. So then, like when the game first starts or when the party loses a character, we just come back into here and we can pull in this stuff. Now we also need what else do we need? We need an actual variable. Variables are down here. There we go. Variable party list, party members. Okay, that's going to be an array of actors. Okay, and then we'll populate that later. What else do we need? We need game running. I don't remember why we were going to use this, but I'll come back to it. Let's see. What do we need here? We need to let's connect our back to town because we're already doing right here. We have head to town. So let's connect in this instead of get tree quit. Let's load up that town scene. So if we go back to head to town, we can just do we don't have a level manager right now. What can we do? We can just do I guess we can just do this for right now. Change scene to file, town. There. So now if we go like to our dungeon here, we move, we do this. Yes, we're back in town. Okay. Do we need to do anything else? Not yet, because we don't have the scene. Not the scene. What's the word I'm looking for? The party transferring between the two, because right now the party exists just in the game board. We have not put the party into this the party members array yet. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see. The party's heading home. We changed the scene. So we need a way to transfer transfer party members to the game manager. Okay, so let's write function transfer. Do we just call it transfer party members? Do we want to call it transfer transfer party? Let's call it transfer party to manager. So then we'll transfer them to here. We're going to need to take in an array of actors. So let's do underscore party. That's going to be an array, array of actors. Okay. And then can we just set the party members equal to that? I think so. Just trying to think if there's something else, because we're going to wipe out game board, so game board's going to cease to exist, but we want to make sure that we get all of the characters that are there, and then we want to keep them contained in here. Doesn't really matter if it's a copy or not, as long as it's 1-to-1. You know what we should? Oh, you know what we should do first? We should make sure party members is clear, just in case. So we don't want to get duplicates. What else do we want to do? We could do some safety checks. I don't think I really care about doing safety checks right now. I think I can do that after. I don't think that this will work. Let's see if this will work. So if we do this and then transfer that, head to town. Oh wait, is this a signal? Back to town connect, back to town. We need to send in the party. So it's an array of actors, okay? An array of actor. Okay, head to town. This is going to be the party, which is an array of actor. That's how I spell party right, huh? Okay, and then transfer the party here, there. Okay. Back to town. Oh, do we just declare it as an array? Yeah, okay. Okay, so then when we leave the dungeon, the game board, or is it the exit tile? Stairs, 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 up. Okay, and then in the stairs, here we go. Game manager, we're calling back to town. Okay. And then what we need to do is we need to send the party here. So we need a var party equal an array of actors. Okay. And that's going to equal get nodes. Oh wait, we got to do get tree, right? Get tree dot get nodes in group players. Okay. Okay, and then we can emit the party. What is this? Can assign a value of type array node to a variable party with specified type array actor. Can we just say that? There we go. Okay. Okay, so then we will send the party back to town, and we come. So then back in our game manager, we're going to transfer the party to the manager. Here we're going to set the party members. Party members are going to equal the party. So let's just make sure after we change the scene, let's just print out what we call it, party members. Okay, so let's make sure that we actually copied them from the game board into this. Game board. Okay, so if we move, we head back to town. Yes. Okay, we have an error. What is our error? Error column signal back to town. Node cannot convert argument 1 from array to array. Okay. Okay, so let's go back into our game manager. Okay, so this is where we probably are going to need the type safety. So in our game manager, back to town, here's the party. Let's just call it an array here. Party is an array. Transfer party. This is going to be an array. My favorite error codes. Yeah. Can't transfer an array to an array. And then here, we'll probably have to go through. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do for member in party. If member is actor, or actually is player, party members, not player members, party members dot append, and then we're going to just append the member. APPEND. There we go. Okay. For a member in party member is append. Yeah, so we wipe it out and then we add it. Okay. Let's try that. Leave. Yes. We have a rogue, a priest, a barbarian, and a wizard. Perfect. Okay. So now we've transferred them, or at least a copy of them, into the game manager. The game manager already has our gold. So we already have that. So we don't need to transfer that over. And that's going to transfer over anything else that happens. Okay. So that will transfer them there. Now we got to be able to transfer them back into the dungeon. Plus, we have to do an initial build so that when we start the game in town, we actually have to populate the party. But let's work on trying to get them back into the dungeon right now. So what we can do is we're probably just going to do basically this same thing. Function transfer party to dungeon. Wow. D-U-N-G-E-O-N. There we go. Okay. And then so when we transfer them into the dungeon, what do we need to send? So we're going to need to populate the game boards. What was that? Export. There was an export here. Export tile stack. Nope. Player list. There we go. Okay. So we need to do the player list. I'm just gonna make this as a note here. Player list needs to equal the party. What do we call this again? Party members. Okay. So what we are gonna need to know, we're not gonna need the party here. We're gonna need to know the destination, where we're going. So we need to know the new game board. So let's call it the dungeon. And we're going to do it as a pack scene. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay. Okay, so dungeon pack scene. Wait, change scene to file. This is all just string, right? Because if we use this is going to keep running. So if we do the change scene to file here, but we need to set that before, because remember our game board needs to know the party list when it first populates to put them in and add them into our combat manager. So let me think about here. How do we do this? So if we do trying to think about how we could do this, because it's a lot easier to go back because we already have them populated. I mean, arguably, we already have them in the game board scene, so we could just replace them because we're going to keep reusing this. Heyo, dodged. How's it going? Is it dodged or doged? With the avatar, I'm thinking it's doged. Let me think here. So if we do an enter dungeon, and we can change the scene, but we need to set up the files for the scene before we do it. Trying to think what would be the best way to do that. Probably we just change the scene. So if we do this and we change the scene here to our, I'm going to delete this out because I don't remember the game board. There it is, components. We'll change the scene there, and then we can change the game board. How do we get a reference to the game board, though? Oh, right there. We pass it in the dungeon. DUNGEON dungeon dot. Actually, did we set a class name on this? That might be useful. We do have a game board. Game board. Okay. Copy. So if we come back over here, we change this dungeon from pack scene to game board. There we go. So if we do a dungeon dot party, what do we call these again? Party. Export party player list. Okay, let's do that. But, I put that in a note right here, so I won't get myself confused. But no, still got myself confused. Party members. Okay. And that's an array of character. Okay, so let's just go back over here to our game board, change this to be an array of actors. So that should solve that problem. Okay. Okay, so then we can change it. We can set that list. Hopefully that will be enough to then add those into the scene. Okay. Sorry, my mother called and left a message. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't anything emergency related. Okay. So we change the scene. We set that equal to the party members. And then that should work fine. Yeah, I think that should work. Let's find out what's going to break. Good question. Oh, it's... I'm not calling this. How am I going to use this? Go back to town. Town. Okay. And this was Explore right here. Button 4. Rename Explore button. Okay. Let's bring that right in there. Function. Why am I'm getting myself all confused. All right. Function ready. Okay. And then we want the, nope. We want the, not that yet. We want the explore button dot pressed dot connect Explore dungeon. Okay. Function explore dungeon. Game manager. Transfer MANAGER. There we go. Transfer party to dungeon. We need to send in the game board. But if the game board doesn't exist yet, how are we going to do that? That is a good question. Well, let's just send this in right now. Okay, so it's going to call over to here. We don't have a game board because here's where we change the scene to the file, game board. And actually, we call it game board. So, you know what? We don't even have to send that now that I think about it. Let's get rid of this. That's fine. Let's go back to game manager. Let's not take this in. Okay, and then we can do this. Here's going to be a variable. And then that is going to equal, actually, you know, we can just do it all in one thing. That's going to equal get tree find node, or is it just plain find node? Find node. Wait, what is the find node or null? I thought it was in the get tree. Oh, get node. Get node. No, I thought it was I thought it was find. Find. Oh god, now my brain is going. Godot get node or null. Where is this called from? Get node or null. It's just called get node or null. Okay. Oh, then y is get node or null. And then we want to call game board. B-O-A-R-D. Is that what we called it? We called it, no, lowercase. Game board. Okay. And then we can then just set that to the party members. Okay. So that should work. Probably not, but we troubleshoot by, of course, that won't work because we don't have any players. There we go. So let's move here, leave. Okay, now we have players. Explore. Valid assignment property player list with a value of array actor on the base object of null instance. Okay, so it could not find game board. Change scene to file. Get tree dot physics process physics frame. Let's just do that twice. I don't think that's going to help, but you never know. Okay, explore. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yep. Invalid assignment or key player list on a base object that doesn't exist. Okay, so this is still running, so it crashed out. So let's look at here. We've got game board. It's right here. Why did you crash out? Game board. Type game board. Let's see if it actually found it or not. Print dungeon. Actually, can we? I don't even have to do that. I can just look right here. And we're looking for underscore dungeon. if I can spell dungeon right. Okay, so it's not finding it there. Let's just print it then. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Object is null. Okay, so yeah, so it's not finding it. Okay. Let's see. What else can we do to get this working? Okay. So even waiting. So we're going to change the scene. You know what? Let's just put a breakpoint right here. And let's just see what we have when this happens. Okay. So here's our breakpoint. Let's look at our tree. Okay. So right here, this has not happened yet. Okay. So what we're doing, we're waiting this. Actually, can I do an await right there? Let's try that. That'd be awesome if that works. Does not look like that worked because we still only have the game manager. We do not have the game board. Okay. We can do one other thing that I don't like doing, but we could. Let's try it. Get tree. Create timer. 2 seconds. Dot time out. Oops. We'll do an await there. We don't need it there. Okay. Let's see if that happens. Now, 2 seconds is an awful long time. Well, that did work. And then that still broke. Do we need to go through and do a dot clear? We need to clear this out. Will that work? Let's just make this 0.5. We don't need it excessively. Okay, invalid access or key lists, base object. So we do have a game board here. Oh, right, because this is only going to look for the node under itself. Get node or null. What if I do a get parent? Let's see if that works. Okay, so that I don't want to use get parent here, but I mean I could, but either way, that works. And then we can do here is, oops, no, I want to leave that in there. Player list equals our player party members. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? I do want to clear it. And then I want to add these here. Okay. Let's do that there. In our game board, let's go back here. Let's remove these guys. Okay. Oh, we don't want to do that yet. Hold on. Because we don't have them existing in the game manager without. So we come here, we do this. Yes. Explore. It clears them out. Done. End turn. Boom. Move. Exit. Yes. Okay. And then we still have these guys. And then if I look, and we look at the game manager, clear the filter, and let's look at our, where do we have our base classes, members? Here we go, party members. We don't have any party members. Right, because what we're doing is in here, player list, right here, it's empty. We have nothing. So let's go back and let's try to change this entirely. Let's take these guys. I'm going to take them right out for right now. Okay, so they're not there at all. We're going to F6, and it's going to be just an empty scene, or it's not going to work at all because there's nothing in there. Okay, so let's go back into our town, not our town, our game manager. Let's build up like an initialized party so that we can build our functional party. Init party. Void. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to go through and we want to build from our base class. We want to build our entire party members. So let's see. So all we really need to do is we need to just do for member in base class. Do we want to just do a like a fill in or just an initial party? I'm just trying to think of how we want to do that. Let's just fill this in for right now. So we're going to go through. We're going to do for member in base classes. What we'll do, because this is preloading the scenes. So then what we can do is we can do a party member, party members dot append, and then we can do a member. Okay. So then this right now, init party. So this should create our party members. So then if we just make sure that it worked right, let's print our party members. Okay. So if I do F5, boom. Okay, that did not work right. Do we have to do initialize? Variable of type string. Oh, right, because this is that we need to actually initialize them. Member dot not initialize, instantiate. S-T-A-N-T-I-A-T-E. Instantiate. So if we instantiate it and then append it, then that should work. Did I misspell instantiate? I think I misspelled instantiate. Let's see, where did we add that? We probably did that in one of our spawners. My brain is just not working today. Instantiate. There we go. So we go back to where were we? Just in not game board, game manager. Nope, I spelled it right. Okay. So if we do a member.instantiate, does that work? Oh, we need to do a var new member equals member.instantiate. Okay. And then we can just append the new member here. Okay. Why is this not working? Oh, right. Because this member is this, and then we're loading this. So we need to address it like this. Base classes member dot instantiate. There we go. Yep. Okay. Silly goose. Then we go into there and it all fails because there's no one to set up. Okay. Let's just take a quick look gander here. Here's our base and our actors. Nope, we want the player list. Here we go. And there's nothing there. Okay. So then when we go to our game manager, so we established our party members here. So when we transfer them into the dungeon, we need this to wait. And then we can't just equal that. Do we need to loop through and put them in there? Which one is it airing out on? I just want to make sure that we're airing out not on the clear, but on the, it's later on, right? Attempt to call function setup for character and player list. Okay. So this is all in ready. We need to set up the character list before we instantiate the scene. But we're just changing the scene. We're not instantiating it. I don't think that's going to work, but yeah. Okay. Oops, I'm in the wrong file. Here we go. Let me think about this. Because we want to change the scene, but we also want to populate it. I think this is going to be our Achilles heel right here. What other ways can we do to change stuff? Dot change scene to node. What's that do? Change the run scene to the provide node. Useful when you want to set up a new scene before changing. Hey, look, that I think actually might be what we need. If the node's already inside the scene tree. Well, let's try this because here, change scene to file. Changes the run scene to one at the given path after loading it into a packed scene and creating the new instance. Returns okay if the path cannot be loaded into it or error creates. So we can't do set up the configuration. So we need the change scene to node. And then we need to send in the node. So we need to instantiate it. Okay. So I think that might give us a better idea of where we need to go with this. Okay. So we're going to try to use this instead. So we're going to cut this. Okay. We're going to do var new game board equals, and we're going to do this preload. No, it'll be just load, right? Dot instantiate. Inst. Wait, how did I instantiate? Hold on, let me just paste this so I don't lose that. Okay, so we do this dot instantiate. Right? So we knew that we got the new game board. And then here, we're going to change this to the new game board. Oh, how about we spell some stuff properly? We don't get ourselves mixed up and Can Evan doesn't come after me for all my spelling errors. Okay. We do all that. Then we change here. We don't need this timeout anymore because we're going to do this. We don't need this because we can just take this and then we'll put it right here. Okay. And then we change scene to node, the new game board. So if we do it that way, so we have a list, boom. Okay, so then these guys are here. We do see them. If we go to game board, let's make sure they're in the list. Where's my list? Over here. Player list. Oops. There we go. And we do have our characters. So, okay. Okay, so that does pass them, but we need to actually add them into the game board. So instead of doing it this way, what I think I want to do player list will clear. And then if we do for player, now let's do for member in, whoops, member in play party members. Okay. And then what we want to do here is we want to do new game board dot player list dot append. Okay. And we're going to append the member. Okay. member. Okay. And then we need to place them down on our grid section. So let's do member dot global position. Should we global position or just position? Because we also need to add them. Okay, so this is just add them to the list. Oh, maybe what we should do then is just, once we add them to the list, have the game board, then add them to the game board from the list. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. We'll just append it. That's fine. If we come back to the game board, and when we do the setup actor, what do we call it here? Setup. Wasn't there like an initial setup? What we do? For character in player list, here we go. Character setup, A star, grid, and the dungeon tile map. Action complete, connect. Okay, so we need a placement in here. So when we place them on the game board, what we need to do is where are we going to put them? We need to track. Sounded like it was raining out. Wasn't expecting rain today. Where are we going to do this? Because I need a way to put them at like 0, 0. So if we go look at, like, say, you know, we did this with the teleport for the wizard. There's our teleport script. Teleport. So let's see here. There, target cell. Target equals target cell, wizard. Teleport out, await the animation. The global position is dungeon tile map, map to local target. Okay. And then this. So we want to use these. So let's go back over here to our game board. So when we set up the player right here in the player list, we're going to then do, we're going to replace wizard with character. Okay. Actually, I can just do that. Character at current cell equals target. Let's just add target. ARGET equals, and this is going to be a vector 2. Where do we want to put them? We want to do not 0, 1. We want to do like 2. Let's do 2, 2. This is going to stack them all on top of each other. Target, oh, var. There we go. This should stack them all on top of each other. Ah, did not work. For member party members. Well, let's just undo what we did here. Let's go back to where it was before, because that was working. There we go. Boom. Okay. Go in. Hey. Oh, we just... Oh, we... So we did all this. I didn't append them into the actor, so they don't exist anywhere. Yeah, so when we run, we need to actually add them to the scene. So character, actors dot add child character. There. Okay, that should add them now. There we go. So now they're all here. Now they're all populated. They're all in the same square. But that's, oh, we wanted it x20 is where I wanted these actually. Okay. So when we do this, we explore. They're all here in this square. What is this one? This is our... Yeah, okay, we can fix that after. We can leave, go back in. Character setup. Okay, did we do... Let's run this one more time. So we're here. We have town. We have this. We hit explore. We have a game board. Okay. We leave. We're back in town. There is nothing here. We have our characters. We hit explore. And we crap out. Attempt to call action setup in a base on previously freed on a null instance. Is this because we're passing the old A-star and dungeon tile map, not the new one? Add child. RP child is null. So when you come back in, it says that it doesn't exist. Game board. Let's look at our player list. Player list. Yeah, no, it didn't populate our characters when we came back in the second time. Okay. But when we went to town, stairs up. Here's our characters. Party headed home. Here's our characters. Okay. Let's add in... let's go back here over here. Transfer party. Party members. Clear. Print. Party members. Let's do this as an error just so it stands out. Okay. So if we do this right now, we've got our 5 members. Boom, boom, boom. We explore. We go in here. We leave. Okay. Here's our 5 members. Oh, right. So then when we explore again, but that shouldn't matter because what we're doing, what's happening at least here, is in our game manager, because of the ready, we initialize the party. And in the initialized party, we're appending new members. So here we have these. That doesn't seem right. Something's wrong here. Head to town. Transfer the party to the manager, which we're doing. We've shown that here. Change the scene to town. Okay. Print party members. Okay. And then print party members. So this is when we head to town. We have, let's do print, oops, bunk, 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 headed to town. Okay. So then we can kind of see where things are coming in here. This is to manager. Okay. And then we have, where else are we printing? There we are right here. This is initial party. Init party. I think this is going to run every time because of this ready. But this transfer party here, transfer party to dungeon. And we're going to do to dungeon. To dungeon. And then we're going to print out the party members here as well. And then, but this one I'm going to do also. No, that's fine. Okay. So here's our initial party. That's what this is. Here's our initial party. We go explore. Okay. And then to the dungeon, we sent in these guys. Okay. So we came in the dungeon. You know, we can move around. These guys exist. Boom. Come back here. We leave. We're sending this to the manager. And then here's headed to town. Okay. So if I look in game manager right now, we have nothing. So why is our game manager now empty? Okay. So when we okay. So our game manager is now empty. So let's take a look at our transfer the party to the manager. We clear this. We do a member in the party that's passed. If a member is player, party append member to the manager, and this is what we have. So like right here, we did to the manager. This is what we have. And then headed to town. Oh, this is afterwards. Okay. We changed the scene. You know what? I want this to be right here. So we can see what we have before we transfer to the manager. We clear it out. And then we add them. And then this is what was transferred to the manager. Okay. Okay. So here's the dungeon. We leave. Boom. We head to town. We had these guys. Right. Here's our rogue 441 or 4641. Yep, right there. Boom. We have those. But when we go to hit explore again, to the dungeon, freed object, freed object, freed object, freed object. So something is clearing them. So to the dungeon, headed to town, transfer to the manager, to the dungeon, and then it's sending nothing. Okay. Well, let's put this at the beginning right here so we can see what they're being sent. I'm just going to delete the error here for this part. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see. We moved this now to before the dungeon. Okay, so this is what we're sending to the dungeon. Okay, we come back to town. This is what we're sending to town. This is what we sent to the manager. Those are all good. And then when we go to the dungeon, it's all freed objects. Are we executing something in the wrong order? That's my only guess, because when we're doing this, party members clear. But when we clear this, oh wait, right here, look at this. No, never mind. So to the dungeon, this is empty right now. This should be clear, so I'm not even going to worry about that. But where is this getting cleared? Doesn't make sense because we send it to the manager, transfer it to the manager, we print. So we're all done here. We transferred it to the manager. Is it in our stairs? So we head back to town. We emit that game manager back to town signal. Here is our party. Connect, head to town. Back to town, pass in the party. We have the party members. Transfer the party to the manager. Party members. So we clear out the party members. We loop through it. If it's a player, we append it. Okay. And then we print this, and it's there. But when we go send them back, they are empty. I have a feeling it's because it's referencing the stuff that's in the game board, and when the game board gets freed, it's freeing up those characters, so we're not actually transferring the ownership of them back to the player manager. So when we head to the dungeon here, we do new board player list equals party members. Transfer here. I'm wondering, do we want to just do party members equals party? I have an idea, but let me try this first. I don't think it's going to change anything. So we got all this. We got to the dungeon. We go back home. Now we have an error. Party members equals party because it's an array of actor versus an array of nodes. Okay. I didn't like that, but can I do... What if I do that? Explore here. Leave. Yes. Explore again. Okay. Move. Yes. Explore. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then so back here in town, now if I look at our game manager, we should have a priest that's missing some health. Party members, boom. One of these should be a priest. Yeah, right here. Priest, he's missing some health. Okay. Yeah, so what it was doing, it was passing a reference. It wasn't passing the actual object. So I had to use the dot duplicate, and then that fixed that problem. Okay. So now we can go back and forth. We've got that. Hey, you know, we're getting somewhere here. Okay, so let's go back into our town, and we're going to let's populate. Let's go back here. There we go. Boom. This label. This will be the rogue. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just call it rogue label. This one's going to be the rogue. ROGUE, rogue HP. And this one will be the rogue I level. And spell it all out. Item level. Okay. There we go. So we'll do this. Then we can, this is this, nope, this. Wait, the buttons should be, buttons should actually be part of this container. Because this container, there we go. This should be the party container. Okay. We'll probably just have to go back up and fix this explore button. Think, yeah, we're not going to need this other H box. That should fix that, right? Yep. Okay. 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 That fixes that. Okay. I want to do a real quick thing. I want to make it so then we can see what our player stats and stuff are. And we've got just about got a loop going here. This is going to be kind of good. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go into our town and let's do, I'm just going to make the rogue work for right now. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take out, I think all of this is, I'm going to try to make this whole thing one scene. And then we'll just populate the scene for each character. It'll be a lot easier than doing it this way. But for right now, we'll just do it this way. And this right here is the party container. So let's add a script to the party container. Okay. And then let's see. Let's get the rogue. We don't really need the rogue HP in there. We only need the rogue HP right now. You know what? Let's relabel these. These are rogue. This is going to be the barbarian. BAR. Barbarian HP. Oops, helps if I spell barbarian, right? This will be the priest HP, and this will be the wizard HP. Okay. So then we just want these, because this is all we're going to update for info right now. Function underscore, oops. Why do I keep trying to underscore function? Ready. And then what we're going to do, we're going to do for player in game manager dot, what do we call it? Party members. Okay. Do we want to just do, no, we don't even need to do that. We can just do, yeah, I am. Because we just call it this, rogue dot current HP. There we go. And then we can just do rogue HP. Oops. Rogue HP dot text equals the string value of game manager current HP. Wait, what? Valid index type string. Oh, right, because this is just going to be a... Isn't party members a... Did we just make that an array? I thought we made that one the dictionary. Oh. Brain not remembering. Game manager. Here we go. Party members. Party members. Oh, we just did an array. Yeah. Dang. I thought I did that as a dictionary. Okay, so it's an array. We'll just have to change the script for the town. Okay, that's fine. So we can still just keep doing this. Whoops. For member in game manager party members, if member is rogue HP text equals member. There we go. This is, obviously not the way you want to do it, but it works. It'll get us through. Oops. Barbarian HP. Okay. This is going to be the priest HP. Helps if I spell priest right. Okay. And this will be wizard. Okay. So that's on ready. We will show all that. Okay. So right now, if that's working, this should all be replaced by whatever their HP is. HP is 1. I don't think that is right. Game manager. Party members. Object. Current HP is 1. Why is their current HP 1? Rogue. Rogue. Shuriken mobility stats. Hit points 5. Oh, right, because it doesn't get set their current HP. Where's actor? Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Ready. wonder if I put this right there. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. Wait, what? There we go. Is there, can we do a, oops, function underscore initialize? there we go. Can we do that? That probably won't let us do that. Nope, won't let us do that. Okay. Actor, oh. Oop. We're freaking out, man. We're freaking out. Don't want to do that. That is a bad move, Jobu. Okay. But I wonder if after we do a dungeon run, no, we're still at 0. Current HP is still 1. Aren't we initializing? Oh, are we? We're initializing the scenes, right? And our oh, where is our game manager? Game manager. So when we do the initialize right here, boom, we're instantiating them. We're appending them. Why aren't they bringing up their stats? Because by default, I'm going to assume that we have HP equal to 1. Yeah. It's right there. Actor. Did we do something different in player? Where's player? Player, ready, super. We set the input. Okay, well, that's fine. Why are those not getting set? Because as soon as we run this, we're not. We had the movement, so we're getting the movement speeds. Or is that the default movement? Let's look at the, that's the rogue. This is the barbarian. 5, yeah, so we're getting the movement speed. Okay, so let's go back and just look at our actor here. So we can just do, so we got movement and this is being set. So we probably want to do the same thing with current HP. No, because we don't want to do that because then we don't want to change it. Well, why don't we just report the max HP? So if we just do stats, copy. Let's go back to town. So if we do stats.max. Oops, we need all of this. Okay. So then that should give us, yeah, here's our base stuff. But the problem is what we need is I need this plus that plus. Okay. And then, but this needs to be current HP, right? Because we want it to be wherever the current one is, which is 5. which is so when we add them into our game manager, it's not actually running the ready, even though we're doing an instantiate. It's not actually running the ready. Because if we take this right here, boom, copy, we go back into our actor and we do ready, right? So if we do this, we do print name plus ready. There we go. So if we do this, yeah, you see here we're never actually calling the ready for these. But are we doing, if I take this out and I do the function initialize init, and then we just do init. So are we doing that at least? Yes. So that is being done. So that's being initialized. But if we put the current HP equals this in here, it breaks. Yeah, see? Because what's it doing? It is going through and saying movement on the base object type null. Why is it trying to set movement? What did I... Because I'm doing stats at hit points. Why is it trying to set movement when I do that? Don't know. What if I just do print? Is that still going to cause this to happen, I wonder? Yeah, so it looks like as soon as I start accessing that stats subnode is when it's triggering this. Okay. Well, let's just get rid of that initialize then. Okay. Either way, but when I go into the dungeon, though, when we hit explore, we're at full hit points, right? Current 5. Yeah. Barbarian's at 8, 5, 4. Okay. So that's fine there. But like right now, we're Barbarian. He hits the trap. Boom. Well, I don't think that trap did any damage to him. Oh, it did. It took away 1. So if we then leave with him, this is, of course, still showing 8. But if we look at the game manager, the actor of the Barbarian, he is at 1 hit point. Wait, when we did a duplicate down. Where did we do that? That was in the game manager. Transfer the party to the dungeon. We did the duplicate, right? No, right here. Party to manager. This one we did the duplicate here. So if I don't do a duplicate there, I know this is going to break the full run, but let's go here. Let's explore. Let's whatever. We can just leave. The party members are freed. Oh. You know what? Let's try something else. Let's do, when was the last time I altered that? Um is it 4.6? I may have done it in 4.7. Let's try 4.6. Let's see if I can get that to come up. Dungeon, where's my actual dungeon fire? 4.6. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's look at my old version of Dungeon Fire, because I had this with a town and we could go in and out of town. Let's see here. Globals, event, game. Was it game data? Is that where I did this? Or did I do a game world? RTS node. Let's look up game data first. Game data. Okay. Get unique names, initial roster. Here we go. Fill in the roster. Add unit, roster. Let's see. Flash, load from JSON. No, this is not the going back and forth between the dungeon. Selection area. Where did I do? Did I have like a town? Town upgrades, town scene. Okay, let's see. How did I do this then? Town is ready. Dungeon. Roster viewer. Okay, here's our roster viewer. And I did the roster viewer, and the roster viewer pulled, where did we pull it from? Show roster, game.roster. Okay, what did game come from? That was our game data. Okay, let's go back to game data. Here's our initial profiles. Create the roster. If the roster is empty, append profile. Okay, we append it to the roster. Add the unit. Get available units. Roster filter function. If they're unlocked and they're alive. It was just basically JSON data is all I did with that. Yeah, I did it that way instead of... Okay. Well, that's not going to give me the hints I was looking for. Oh. So if we duplicate this, we get the thing, but we don't get the actual data. So we're going to send this party member print member dot current current underscore HP. Okay. I'm just curious, when we come back from the dungeon. Okay, so that is passing their current HP. Print party members dot duplicate. Party member. So we're going through here. We got a member. So then we print it. Is there like another, instead of duplicate, is there like another one that we can do? Let's look here. Let's see here. What do we got? Duplicate. Shared resource trap. Creates a shallow copy. While properties like positions and names are separate, any resources remain shared. Okay, so this is not working the way I want it to work. Do we just not want to do this? See what happens when we don't clear it. Still cleared. But look, now we have duplicates here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we don't want that. And we still get the same error of, hey, this has been cleared already. I am scratching my head on this one. I feel like it's something simple, something straightforward, and I'm just completely and totally missing it. Because we are successfully doing that, and then when the game board gets cleared, then they go away unless we duplicate them here. What if we do... What if we go back into our stairs and do something I don't feel like I should do, but let's do it. So before we get rid of this, we confirm the exit. Where do we actually transfer the scene? Game manager, back to town, omit party. Okay. So we're doing it in the game manager. We're going back to town, party to town. Okay. So here's where we're changing the scene. That's where this is going away. So when we transfer the party to the manager, how about if we do member, member dot unparent. What if we unparent the member? What if we do that? We can't just unmember or unparent the member. Frustration. We're coming in, we're looking at the member. What can we do with the member? Because we don't want to... Can we change? Whoops, change parent? What can we do so that we can reparent to self? I mean, we could take ownership of it. Probably won't like that. Okay, well, it did. Hey, wait, we got 5 of 5 here. Did we accidentally just kind of stumble upon this, right? Are we not... I'm just curious. When I do this, okay, right now, here's town. There's nothing here. Here's game manager. We explore. We're here in this. We leave. Now we have these guys. So then when we transform to the dungeon, we should probably reparent them into the dungeon. Okay, so if we do that, so if we use this reparent, copy, and then we do transfer a party to the dungeon. So here we can just do for member in player list. Player list append member. So we're going to do that, and then we can do member reparent to new game board actors. Oops, this is party members. Right? Party members right here. Boom. There we go. Excuse me. Okay, so we do this and then we reparent them there. This is probably going to end up with duplicates on the game board of the party members, but I just want to see. So we do this, we explore. Append. Valid assignment of property append rogue on a base object of type array actor. So even though a rogue is a type of actor, it won't let me do that. Well, let's generify the game board then. Player list. Well, that let me do that. No, it will not. Okay. Okay. So that does not quite work. Oh, you know what? Let's just copy this. We'll put this back to where this did work. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that worked there. And then we can do this, and then we can just reparent there. There we go. Let's do that. Leave, yes. Okay, go back in. Now we should have duplicates. I believe we should have double. Game board. These guys are still here. They did not get put into the actors on the game board. Member reparent. Let's see. We're sending it to the actors. Did I do the reference to the actors wrong in the game board? Let's see. Game board. No, right there. It's a node 2D. It's an actors. Get nodes. Players. Yep, that one I know of. There we go. Boom, boom. Signal. It's fine, but it still didn't reparent properly. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back through and research this some more. I mean, we do sort of have a loop working. It just doesn't work the way I want it to work. Because if we just get rid of this, then we can just do explore. Yes, explore. Leave. Explore. I need to remove the other parent. Here it is right there. Boom. Let's put this back to duplicate. Okay. So the only thing that isn't working. Let's see here. Let's clear this out. So we got the initial party. We can explore here. We can leave. This isn't working. Just do that. Explore. Leave. What are you talking about? I duplicated you. Why are you now not working? I'm just trying to put you back so I can have something that works for the next stream. Transfer the party to the manager. Boom. Append. Member duplicate. Done. Done. I mean, that should be all fine. Oh, wait. There was one of these right here. We want to do party members dot clear. Is that what it was? Explore. Yes. Explore. Yes. There we go. Okay. So we have this at least working now, so we can we can move around. We can end the turn. Move. Try to find the exit. Boom. Okay, one of these guys should find the exit here. We made the exit super common, and now we can't find the exit. That makes me laugh. Hey, there's the exit. Okay. Hey, let's see if we can find another exit. Of course, I don't have the turn logic in place here to make it so I can't find two exits. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can find another one. There we go. Move it onto here. Boom. Leave. Yes. Okay. So we have the full loop, right? We start in town. We can go explore. We can go back. We do have a problem, though, with this transform, because if we go back to explore here again, you'll see all of our actors here at full health. Yeah, we're not transferring any hit points and stuff like that, but we have the full loop that is working, so we've got that. I need to go back and poke and look at some of my other stuff to figure out how, like in my Castlevania game and stuff like that. I know in that one I'm unparenting, changing the scenes and putting the character back in. So there's got to be something key I'm missing here for when I pull it to the game manager and make it the owner. So there's got to be something I'm missing. I don't know what. So I got to figure that out. But let's go over here and let's take a look at what we've done today. We have this. We can go through multiple dungeons. We don't have that. We haven't really coded that, so I'm not going to call that done. Traps are done. Monsters don't trigger. We don't have an action yet to... I'm going to uncheck that because we haven't done the disarm. Town, nope. Save and load, basic UI. I mean, not really a whole lot there, but we've got this. Starting town, complete a dungeon run, visit town, and repeat. Problem is where the persistence of our characters is not there yet. So we'll have to come back to that. So I'll save that. And let's go over here. We'll hit stop on our time tracker. Stop. And let's see where we're at. We're at 50, we'll call it 56 hours. Um, yeah. So we're making progress. We're making steady stuff. We're getting there. Um, so this one was supposed to be completed at 50 hours. We're at 6 hours in past this initial commitment that we had given, but we flew through a bunch of this stuff. Next week, we're going to do the inventory and the items. I'm actually making another 90-second game dev about inventory. Um, so that should be a lot of fun. And then we can hook up base. This is going to be a real fun thing, but we need to get that persistence sorted out. So I need to go back through and dig through and figure out what that is causing that problem. And then that's a lot of this stuff is just real easy tweaks. But once we get that and the basic UI in place, I think we're going to be pretty close because again, escalation mechanic, we've already got the trap resetting, so we can just reset traps. We can do the same thing. I think, did I add that in on monster spawner? I did not, but what we can do is we can just go through our spawners and then just call spawn, and then it'll spawn new monsters. So we're good there. So this is just about done. We just actually have to go in our game manager and make a way to track it either by tiles or by turns, and then just trigger that stuff. So I think we're sitting pretty good here. I'm not gonna promise this weekend thing. I've my son just had a birthday, so we're gonna do some celebration. So probably not this weekend. I do have another developer feedback video I have to film this weekend, so that'll probably be what that is, and my 90-second game dev. But we'll be back on Thursday at 10 a.m. We're gonna get the inventory built out. I'm gonna get that persistence thing done. That's gonna be the big key thing. Is I'm gonna figure out what that problem is, why our persistence isn't working properly. It's probably something stupid. I probably missed like a single line of code somewhere. And then once we get that, everything else should just fall into place, and it's just going to be pretty straightforward on all this stuff. Just, making it so we don't queue free the bad guy or the hero until it's his turn again. Something like that. Ooh, it's going to be a little bit rough if he dies, and then right after the orc who killed him is his turn, then we have the healing surge, so we should be good there. But I think we're in a good place. So keep an eye out next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be streaming again, and I think we're going to be able to bust through all this. As soon as I get that persistence bug resolved, we'll be able to bust through a lot of this stuff. And I mean, this is all just straightforward, UI building and just hooking up code. So I think we'll be able to bust through all this stuff. And I'm going to cross my fingers. We're not going to hit 60 for the playtest. I think I have a very firm belief that we're going to be able to get there by about hour 64 or 65. So we should be able to make up a lot of lost ground that we did with the refactor. So I think just another couple sessions, and I think we'll be getting ready for playtest stuff. So with that, have a good day, and I'll catch you all next week. See ya.